Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everybody. Thank you for tuning into another Supatease video. And in this one, I am going to bring you my strategy, my special tactics to climb to 2100 in one day. So obviously, as we all know, 9.2 has come live, which means that you're going to be working to grind up your rating to get your powerful new equipment, get your vault unlocks for more chances at tier set bonuses. So getting as high rated in arena or PvP in general is going to be a good idea. So in this specific video, the composition that I brought with this strategy is the Balanced Druid, Arms Warrior, Holy Priest. You can play this with basically any healer. The main focal point of this composition is the Spear of Bastion from the Arms Warrior, coupled with the Solar Beam of the Balanced Druid, plus these new Gladiators Resonators, these grenades. So our main goal and strategy is to be able to get onto enemy healers, drop them in a Storm Bolt, Spear of Bastion, Solar Beam, and then just grenade them and watch the fireworks at that point. That is the main strategy of the composition and the main game plan of it if you are looking to employ this. I decided to run Convoke the Spirits as of right now, more or less as kind of a cheeky strategy. I think that you can still do this as Kyrian. It's probably safer, but when you get a fully channeled Convoke with the legendary that reduces it to a 1-minute cooldown, it allows you to do it every single Solar Beam Spear combo, and if you cross crowd control enemies, you're going to be able to more easily get access to that massive Convoke pressure. It's just an extra threat that the other team needs to be aware of as well, especially because I was playing with a Holy Priest, which a lot of enemy teams actually like to attack. So having this as a backup threat was my main thought process with it. But as the game is about to begin, I'm just going to be walking you through my playthrough, what I'm thinking, what my team is trying to do, so that you can take that and then utilize it yourself. Also, if you'd like to stay up to date with any changes made to the game, because there seems to be a lot of them coming out right now, make sure you hit that subscribe button. It's just going to let you know when my videos go live. And I do plan on releasing guides like this as well if you're interested in those. But at the start of the fight, you want to sneak over to the enemy healer in stealth. So this way you can kind of bombard them right away with your all-in strategy. So you want to coordinate cross crowd control on enemies like the Shadow Priest in this instance or the Hunter. So we're all dogpiling on top of the enemy healer. We're going to coordinate our Stormbolt, Spear, and our Solar Beam as soon as possible to try and go for an all-in. It looks like my warrior got a bit worried about the Hunter coming out of stealth. Reasonable reaction here, so we're going to leap back and disarm the marksmanship Hunter from stealth and try and prevent them from getting too much damage out. And then we're going to immediately get back to the Shaman, drop our Stormbolt, drop our Spear of Bastion, drop our Resonators, and I'm off healing my warrior at the moment. Unfortunately, we got kind of like counter engaged on our push, which can be the dangers of trying to go all in on the healer, but we were trying to bait cooldowns from the Shaman with this push, and we were managed to be able to get his wall. We end up popping Incarn Convoke anyways, kind of just really YOLO, honestly, in this position, but you can see the Shaman immediately sees Convoke and drops Spirit Link. That's the added threat of it. Even if the Convoke doesn't actually get value, the fact that it could completely obliterate you means that enemies usually respond and overtrade cooldowns, which allows us to get wall, Spirit Link, basically every cooldown. We can then switch that pressure to other targets once the Solar Beam is over. Make sure you kill Healing Tide totems against enemy Resto Shamans. It's going to be a very important recovery mechanic for them. And we can kind of just continue attacking random targets to force the Shaman to stay in our line of sight and force the Shaman to have to heal their allies, so that the next time our Solar Beam comes up, they're not going to be able to so easily run away. Here, the Shaman's in a Stormbolt, but I'm going after the Hunter. I'm attacking the target that doesn't have Earth Shield, splitting my pressure. This way, Earth Shield isn't getting maximum value in between our little Solar Beam goes. This is a good way to tax mana from the Shaman as well if they're having to heal targets that don't have the Earth Shield. And then once you get targets low on health, you can try and Cyclone them to prevent their recovery. So now the Shaman's at half health, the Hunter's at half health. Not really focusing a lot of pressure into the Shadow Priest with this composition, because they can Greater Fade and disperse pretty much all of your all-in attempts. So Shadow Priest generally not a good target for this strategy. Also, they heal themselves pretty effectively, whereas the Hunter won't. So my damage is going to be more sticky on the Hunter. But still just spreading my damage out onto multiple targets, trying to force the Shaman to fall behind. We're getting ready for our Solar Beam that is coming up in 8 seconds. We can combine that with the Spear and possibly get an all-in kill on the Shaman, but we've got to be aware of our warrior dying at the same time and toss out regrowth if necessary. Maintain your dots on every target. This is very important. They get a full freezing trap on my healer, and there's double tap from the Hunter, which is a very scary moment, but we're actually going all in at this exact same second. Solar Beam Stormbolt Bolt on the Spear Bastion, locking them in it. Even if they trinket, they're going to get silenced again by the Solar Beam and pulled back in. That's why the strategy is so scary for enemy healers to deal with particularly. But we don't get the kill, but we get the trinket. We'll disarm the Hunter and clone the Hunter as a little bit of the fallout of the CC onto our healer earlier, then innervate our healer as they're out of crowd control so they can maximize their healing for free. But we got the trinket from the enemy healer without using our Gladiator's Resonators, which is pretty much a guaranteed kill the next time we get the healer in a Solar Beam Spear Bastion with our Resonators. We also have Convoke. So we have a choice. We could use Convoke prior to that attempt to try and force more cooldowns, or save the Convoke for that big all-in, but it won't be synced up. I think it might be better to save it. Not sure 100% what I decided to do in this position, but that is my main choice. After our attempt on the healer, we go back to the damage dealers. We're not really going to be able to kill the healer. It's really risky to be training them outside of our solar beams. You can see how much damage we're taking right now. I did end up pressing Convoke aggressively in between our setups. That actually forced Aura Mastery from the Shaman, which is a very important cooldown to get because that will immune the solar beam. We're going to kill the Psy Fiend. We're going to focus on line of sighting, healing our allies in between the attempt, attacking whoever is easily accessible, which at the moment is the Shadow Priest or the Hunter's Pet. Killing the Hunter's Pet is important. That can remove Roar of Sacrifice, which is going to prevent all of your abilities to crit. We start pushing forward on them, and you can see that we're running the Shaman out of mana. So we have these all-in swaps to healers, and then we have this more standard kind of just dogfight out in the middle, do as much damage as possible, and you're shifting between those two modes of play. So you can either have the fallback strategy of running the Shaman out of mana, or an all-in push that's going to just KO them. So you've got the Shaman on their toes thinking like, I don't know what they're going to do. Are they going to go all in? Are they going to try and just kill my allies? I'm not sure. And you can keep the enemy uneasy, which is very important. If the enemy doesn't know what you're going to do 100%, it becomes really difficult. We snipe that Healing Tide Totem. We go after the Mana Tide Totem immediately as well. We want no recovery. We have them in a checkmate position with no trinket on their healer and limited mana. We can really go all in. So I drop a Bash Solar Beam. We have no Storm Bolt, and we're going to drop our Spear Bastion, drop our Gladiator's Resonators, and the Shaman is not able to escape even with the Master's Call of the Hunter. We cycle on the Hunter and we just pop them with the Gladiator's Resonators. Nice little KO there, even though our Priest is kind of feared out of the match. But that's what me and the Warrior are trying to accomplish, is getting to those healers during the solar beams, dropping the spears, dropping the resonators, dropping big damage on them, then surviving in between, attacking whoever you can, not trying to overextend too much, focus on more on cloning and healing at that time. With better cross crowd control, we definitely could have demolished this team a lot sooner. I think removing the Hunter with clone or removing the Priest with Chastise or clone as well could have made this strategy even more deadly. But these resonator strategies are definitely powerful, really good with RMP. I think they're also stellar with these Kyrian strategies. You can pair the Warrior up with a lot of other classes as well, enhancement shamans, rep paladins, and do similar amounts of burst damage in these scenarios. So this is a strategy you're definitely going to want to pick up, practice, and learn how to combat. And if you'd like to watch me live, I'm streaming on twitch.tv/Supatease every day. Currently trying to do a 2400 challenge on every class this season. So if you'd like to follow me along with that journey live, then check me out over there. Comments down below. What do you think at the moment? Is this going to be a strategy that you try to employ for 9.2 at the moment on your climb? I'd love to hear it. And other than that, thank you very much for watching the video. I will catch you in the next one.